It's here first from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. Speed limits are going to go up on some Iowa highways tomorrow, but don't hit the gas just yet. Some counties are still figuring out how to pay for new signs. And it's another hot day here in Iowa with heat indexes around 100 degrees today. It's Tuesday, June 30th. Dozens of states may need to pay millions of dollars next year to help feed low-income families through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP. The exact amount is based on a state's SNAP payment error rate, which includes overpayments and underpayments to participants. Iowa is in the clear for now, but most states have an error rate of 6% or higher and will have to start paying a portion of the benefit costs unless they can lower their rates this fiscal year. Christine Woody, the Food Security Policy Manager for Empower Missouri, says the change comes as states will also pay higher administrative costs for SNAP in October.
At least all of us advocates believe that really to do this in the proper way, you really need to increase in staffing, increase in oversight, increase in the number of folks who are working through these problems, and not just make like drastic cuts and drastic ways to cut people off potentially just to get the error rate down.
The changes are part of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill signed into law last July. A new state law requires Iowa school boards to have uniform guidelines in place for screening, identifying, and serving gifted students before school starts in 2027. The policy passed the Iowa House and Senate this spring with bipartisan support. The new law was proposed by the Iowa Department of Education, which found Iowa schools had a general lack of procedures for identifying talented and gifted students in early elementary grades. The law encourages schools to assess all K-12 students for talented and gifted opportunities, and it also says schools must offer classes and other services that match the academic strengths and interests of a gifted and talented student. Republican Representative Dan Gelbach of Urbandale says the law provides consistency across school districts.
It helps make sure that talent doesn't slip through the cracks. Too often, access for gifted and talented kids depends on advocacy, and this bill flips that and makes the opportunity the default.
Opponents say schools may not be able to hire teachers and cover other costs without additional dedicated funding. State officials say for the past 7 years, Iowa school districts have had an unspent budget of $23 million for talented and gifted student programs. As Iowa prepares to raise the speed limit from 55 to 60 miles per hour on 2-lane paved roads, there is concern about the cost and time needed to comply with the new state law taking effect tomorrow. IPR's Sheila Brummer reports on these potential roadblocks.
During a recent Woodbury County Supervisors meeting, County Engineer Laura Sievers said it could take months and thousands of dollars to modify road signs.
Trying to survive this change that does nickel and dime our budget quite a bit.
Other counties have also expressed concern about what Sievers calls an unfunded mandate. The change is estimated to cost counties and the state $825,000. Brian Moore is with the Iowa County Engineers Association. He says curves also need to be reevaluated for proper speed limits and passing zones reassessed.
Patience with state and the counties as they work through, getting the signage out appropriately.
Even though the new law says people can drive a little faster, the Iowa State Patrol says drivers should obey the posted speed limit. I'm Sheila Brummer, IPR News.
New DNA testing has identified the remains of a man found over 40 years ago in Winneshiek County. IPR's Gavin McGough has more on the closing of this cold case.
The Winneshiek County Sheriff's Office has identified a body first discovered in a hay barn in the county's northeast in 1986. The breakthrough came after Deputy Cole Tweeten began looking over Old County case files.
As I grew up here, I always knew the exact, hay shed that he had been found in and knew of the case.
After an unsuccessful investigation decades ago, the body was buried in a cemetery near Decorah. Tweeten's efforts allowed investigators to unbury it this spring. Subsequent testing and database searches identified the body as belonging to Clifton Womack, who disappeared from Ohio as a young man in 1985. The cause of death is undetermined. Womack's body will be transported to Ohio for a final burial. I'm Gavin McGough, IPR News.
And I'm Megan McKinney. Thanks for listening to Hear First from IPR today. I hope you had a great weekend. Glad to be back with you. And whoo, did it get hot and humid? It's that time of year where I think, maybe winter wasn't so bad. Have a great day. Stay cool.